Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So today's reading is haunted house themed, and that is because we're going to be exploring your haunted house. So essentially that's all the jump scares, all the cobwebs that you need to sweep away, any sort of transformations or things from the past that need to be left behind and moved forward from, the way out of this haunted house. So essentially I'll be walking you through the experience of going through like a haunted house, and then we'll also close with like a nice cozy recuperation that you could do as well. So of course this is all metaphorical, and it's to do with a journey of the self. So that's what we're going to be exploring today in your reading. So we've got 4 piles for you to choose from, pile 1, 2, 3 and 4. Please pick your haunted house and your crystals. So for pile 1 we have some tiger's eye, but it's like red-brown tiger's eye. For pile 2 we have some purple cat's eye. For pile 3 we have, it's like a beige cat's eye. It's like silvery cream beige. Okay. And for pile 4 we have pink Crackle quartz. And the names of these houses, for pile 1 it's home. For pile 2 this is the King of Pumpkins. For pile 3, this is the Empty Cottage, and for pile 4, this is the 10 of Coins. You can also pick your pile based on the zodiac sign in the timestamps below, or based on the numbers in the timestamps below as well. Without further delay, let's hop into your reading. Okay, hello my pile 1s, welcome to your reading. So you chose home. So let's pop your significator card off to the side here. And let's get your first card, which is what's working against you right now, pile 1. What's the force or energy working against you? Interesting, we have the 3 of Cups. So that's quite interesting because I think like you can take that literally if you want to, but I don't see it as a literal thing, especially because this is a metaphorical reading. You could take it literally as maybe there are some friends working against you, like maybe your inner circle isn't as supportive and loyal and encouraging as you thought they were. It could be that, but it could also be your desire for celebration, friendship, taking time off, taking time for yourself, taking space for yourself. Like maybe you tend to treat yourself a little bit too much, like as in, so you know, like if you work really hard and then you accomplish something, so you give yourself a little break for like a day or two, maybe a nice weekend, you're then like, well, I think I deserve a little bit more, let's take this until the week and then the next weekend and the next week, and it's like it's just all celebration. So it could be like you're all fun and play and no hard work, which could be working against you. It could also be your perspective on things though, and I feel like it's this option more strongly for several reasons. One, I don't know if you can see, but there is an eagle here, and they're about perspective, especially if they're flying. It's about gaining new perspective. And I think you might have an outlook of like maybe desiring friendship, closeness, connection, community more than ensuring that you're being respected in those relationships, because I think you go into connections with people, into trying to make friends with people so desperately, like your sight is just stuck on that as like I have to have friends, I have to have this big social group and you know, lots of support and things. But because your sights are kind of stuck on that, it means that you put your own boundaries to the wayside. So if these new people that you're trying to get to know, trying to be friends with, can sense that you're going to put yourself last, they'll take advantage of that and you'll let them because you value them above yourself. So it's about how you're placing people on a pedestal above you rather than just meeting people where they're at and seeing if you fit and seeing if, not in a like arrogant way, but seeing if they're worthy to be around you. You know, are these good people? Are these people you want to share your time with, you know? So that's something that could be working against you, is how you put people on a pedestal, is this perspective that you have. Okay, so I'm going to try and make it like haunted house shaped for the spread, so I'm moving the card. We also have what is protecting you right now. We have the 8 of Stones in reverse. I see this in a few different ways, just based on like the energy I'm getting from your pile as well. But what's actually protecting you right now, ironically, is the very square box that you're being placed into by fate, by your spirit guides. It's the square box you're in. So you might feel like you're stifled a little bit, your creative energy is stifled a little bit, and you don't always get to explore new opportunities, new ventures. But that's actually a good thing, because your spirit guides are basically saying, if you were to explore that creative venture, you might abandon other responsibilities in your life, which could take your life down a trajectory you don't want it to go down ultimately. But you won't know that in the current space you're in. In the current space you're in, you might be like, let me start a flower letterbox company. But your spirit guides know that's not going to be fruitful for you. But if you got carried away with that idea, you might take it and run with it. So your spirit guides are essentially helping you to not get carried away with that by stifling that creative energy, by also keeping you in whatever it is that is your stream of income right now, keeping you in that place. That's what your spirit guides are doing to protect you at the minute. That doesn't mean it's a forever thing, it's just a now thing to keep you stable and grounded. What cobwebs do you need to clear out? Oh, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. Two of Cups in reverse. Okay. I think love hasn't gone the way you wanted it to in your life. It hasn't been as fruitful as you wanted it to be. And I think you're harbouring or holding on to a lot of resentment to that. Maybe a lot of regret. A lot of disappointment, and maybe it's impacting your day-to-day, like maybe particularly romantic love hasn't gone how you wanted it to, and you're harbouring a lot of resentment to that, rather than looking at it and thinking, I'm so glad that like things didn't work out. Because I think there could be situations that you're looking back on with rose-tinted glasses where you're like, oh, I wish that had worked out. Why didn't it? Why didn't I give that person a chance? And if you actually really think about it, you're like, oh yeah, no, I remember why. Because they were terrible. But because it's been so long, and because maybe you're regretting things and wanting things to be different, you're looking at the situation differently in a more positive light than it actually was. But if you actually reflected, you'd find that all of those missed opportunities, as you feel that they might be, were actually blessings. For sure, blessings in disguise, because it saved you from the fate of their current partners. So it's stuff like that. So those are like the cobwebs you need to clear out, is these harboured feelings that you're having for the way your love life has gone so far. Because it doesn't even mean that that's the only way it will ever go. It just means that's the way it has gone so far. But you shouldn't regret the past, or, you know, wish it had been different, because it went how it did to protect you. Oh, okay, so what is your ghost in the haunted house? We have the Emperor and the Two of Thunder in reverse. I find this really interesting. So there's... Let me slide it over so we can still see it, but it's still building a part of this haunted house. Okay. So I think the way I see that is that two things. One, there's like a past version of you that you're outgrowing. That's going to be really good for you, because you're still in the phase of clinging on to this past version of you. You're still in this transitionary period, but your next kind of transformation, kind of glow up, the ghost in your haunted house, is a really confident version of you. So the Emperor being in reverse, the Two of Thunder in reverse, you struggle to make decisions, you struggle to see your way, you're not very independent, you struggle to be confident. This version of you is being cleared out. So that your next glow up is a removal of this energy and replacing it with this essentially really like powerful, dominant, confident person who can make the right decisions for themselves, but also trust that the decisions they've made are right. Whether or not they are, you can trust it because it came from you and you trust yourself more. So it's like a glow up of your confidence, your energy, your aura. Oh my gosh. Again, you have another 2 cards, but we have what surprises and jump scares are in your haunted house, which means what glow ups and surprises and new things are coming that you're not expecting. And we have the Ten of Stones, and we have the Fool card. So essentially, there are new opportunities on the horizon, new experiences. You're very protected on this journey. I love it. You're finally getting to reach that rainbow that was so far away from you with this perspective you had where you're putting people on a pedestal. But now that you're leading yourself and putting yourself first, you're so much closer to it. You're receiving it at this point. So what you don't see coming is that you will get there. You will be this confident person who puts yourself first, who doesn't put people on a pedestal anymore. And it will eventually lead to this amazing stability, success, comfort with the Ten of Stones there. Maybe even financial abundance, because you trust yourself. You lead yourself in the right direction when it comes to financial pursuits and things. But yeah, you're finding your way. And it's really helping you to develop into this wonderful, mature, stable, confident person. And you don't see it coming because you don't feel like that right now because you're still in the transitionary period, but that is what's coming. Ooh, what's the way out of your haunted house? So we have the Star. So following your dreams is the way out. Following your hopes for the future, aspiring towards greatness, and knowing that you can achieve it and you can reach it and get there. Okay, the adrenaline rush to kind of look out for is the Hierophant in reverse. So I think with the adrenaline rush, the reason you go into and delve into all of these more shadow sides of yourself is because you're out of line with order and structure and routine, because that makes you feel free. But actually the complete opposite is true. When you fall out of structure and routine and schedule, you're not free, you're just lost and trying to navigate yourself blindly with the structure, with the routine. It's not like you have to stick to it, but it provides a nice bit of navigation and guidance towards your goals and what it is you want. So that's the adrenaline rush that kind of tugs you back in to the haunted house and makes you go again. But the thing leading you out is your hopes and dreams, your star. If you want to stay on path towards getting what it is you want, you have to have a plan. You have to have that structure and make that routine. Oh my goodness, okay. So we have what's the breath of fresh air at the end. You know, where you step out of the haunted house and you're relieved you made it through. The breath of fresh air is the Six of Wands in reverse with that big eagle. That big soaring eagle that we mentioned in the beginning is that new perspective. Okay. So it's definitely your breath of fresh air is your achievement and your accomplishment. You will literally achieve exactly what it is you want. You will get to the stars because you're on this eagle's back. You're able to fly and soar wherever you need to go. You can reach that rainbow, which is essentially that new perspective and who you are on the other side of that when you start putting yourself first. It opens up new opportunities and doors for you, especially in terms of stability in life satisfaction, happiness. So that making it through this really scary maze and trying to follow your dreams and navigate yourself with that through structure, through routine, through having your sights on what it is you want, and by trying to prioritize yourself and shift your perspective so you're not putting anyone on a pedestal and you're becoming this confident, mature, stable person. That's going to help you get out to the other side, breathing in that lovely fresh air. So yeah, lots of positive success and happiness for you. And what's the cozy recovery? So this is when you make it home after the night out at the haunted maze or haunted house, and you get to have like a nice cup of coffee on the sofa and watch your favourite TV show with a biscuit or something. This is your cozy recuperation from the haunted house. So we have the Three of Thunder. That literally means, so this is the chimney here. So let's put that there. So this literally means your recovery. Essentially, you're the thing that no longer happens, the thing that makes you feel better. Once you've been through this whole journey of navigating your haunted house, figuring out who you are, and meeting your shadows where they're at, is that you no longer suffer heartache, you no longer have heartbreak, you no longer have tough relationships, tough conversations, nights where you're feeling really low about yourself and where you're at, because you know that you've got a compass, you know where you're heading, you've navigated your way through, you know what your dreams and goals are, and you know you're doing well. So you have something to kind of track your progress off of, because you're now like tracking this road that you're following. So all that pain, that turmoil, all those feelings of guilt or resentment or wishing things were different, of putting yourself last and not seeing your value, all of that is gone. All of that disappears, and you just see yourself in such a more positive light. So that was your reading pile 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello my pile 2s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the King of Pumpkins, which, because this is from the Hocus Pocus deck, I feel like this is the house that they go to where the guy is like dressed as the devil and they think he actually is. But okay, so it's like the fun haunted house. Alright, so let's see what's working against you in this haunted house. You know, what's seeking you out? What energy? Ooh, we have the 9 of Stones. That's really interesting. I think it's your empathy. Although, like, empathy is lovely, because with the 9 of Stones, there's an energy of, like, you see this bird, it's like, her ability to connect with nature and be kind to everything and everyone. And to basically, like, get along with everything and everyone. Sometimes, even though that's a lovely thing to have, and you shouldn't, you know, get rid of that just because other people are taking advantage of it. But I think what could be working against you is that you try and see the good in people, even when there's no good to see, and you try and give people the benefit of the doubt and try and make excuses or see things from their side of view. You almost play devil's advocate a little bit, and you're like, but maybe they've been through this and that's why they do that. And it's like, no, you know, act from the facts that you have presented to you. You don't have any of that additional context. All you have is what they've done, and what they've done isn't good, or what they've said isn't good, and doesn't make you feel good. So don't make excuses for them. Look at them for who they're showing you that they are, you know. Don't try and like weave in this backstory or embellish the situation so that you can see it differently and from a positive light, because unfortunately not everything is going to be from a positive light. You're kind of allowing people to be energized by taking your energy, because you're, as an empath, your energy is just radiating off of you. If you're an empath with no boundaries, that's a problem because people are going to take that energy. So that's kind of what's working against you, is this empathy with no boundaries, and empathy with no sight of an acknowledgement of the fact that sometimes there just is no good to see in certain people or situations. So I think that's what's working against you right now. We're making this like haunted house spread, so that's why I've moved the card. So what's protecting you? Okay, so we have the 4 of Cups here in reverse for what is protecting you on this journey. What's protecting you in this haunted house? I think it's your desire for more. I think it's you don't accept things for what they are. You constantly want them to change and grow and be better, and you want to put effort into those things and nurture those things to be better in your life. Like anything that's kind of going wrong in your life, anything that needs to grow or change, you will try and grow and change it. You're always thinking of ways to be better and do better and become a better person. And so that's what's really helping you here. That's what's protecting you, because you don't just settle for where you're at and make excuses and say, this is just who I am. You know, you'll recognize areas where you could be doing better, or a situation could be doing better, or someone else in your life could be doing better, and you reevaluate from there. So that's an energy that's really protecting you. Okay, so what cobwebs do you need to clear out from your haunted house? Ooh, we have Chariot. I was going to say Speed. We have the Chariot, and we have the Root of Stones in reverse. I think your desire for success to happen quickly and overnight is something is like a mindset that you kind of need to get rid of straight away. Because the thing is, you're setting a really unrealistic standard for yourself and thinking you can achieve this thing that's actually borderline impossible to achieve. Because it's almost like, if, for example, if you see areas where you could grow, like you're like, oh, this tree here, this bush, whatever it is, needs to have all the fruit plucked from it. I'll do that today. But actually it might take a week to pluck all of those fruits. So if you don't do that within a day, you're then like, wow, I'm rubbish. I didn't do that. Like that. I must be the slowest person in the world. It's not happening as quick as I want it to. And you're quite frustrated. That's something you have to get rid of straight away, because you're just setting yourself up for failure and making yourself feel worse about what is amazing progress, even if you don't see it. You're making yourself undermine your accomplishments in doing that. So that's the cobweb that you kind of need to get rid of there. Interesting. You have the Six of Thunder in reverse. So this is what it looks like upright. That's really interesting, because I see like whales as beacons of empathy, and we've already spoken about your empathy here. And this is the ghost that's in your haunted house. So the ghost is something from the past that you're still transitioning from, but essentially this is something you're going to be transforming away from. And what I'm seeing is that you are going to be transforming away from, again, as I said, that accessible empathy. You're going to be really specific about who you give it to. You're not going to be reachable to everyone. Because the reason I bring this up is I once had a dream about a whale, like trapped in one of those abandoned aquariums. There's quite a few actually, it's really unfortunate. But I woke up and I went on my phone, and the first thing I saw was, killer whale abandoned in aquarium park. And so it's like, I see those animals as really empathetic, but also really tuned in, and like they can reach you through your dreams. They can, talk to you, communicate to you in a way that you might not be aware of. And so it's like every day your empathy is being pulled at in different directions that you're not even aware of. And I think you're setting up stronger boundaries rather than being so free and open with it. You're setting more boundaries around your empathy. And this doesn't weaken your empathy, it strengthens it. It makes it even more powerful. So that's the transition or the transformation that I'm seeing in you. Okay, so what surprises or jump scares are next? Oof. Okay. There might be a movement in your friendships or in your inner circle, your social circle, and by movement I mean things might change, dynamics might change, and this often happens when you start setting boundaries. Unfortunately, it is just one of those things. It does happen, but I think there will be people around you who are not comfortable with the fact that you're setting boundaries, because it closes them off from what they were getting from you. So you might find a shift, a bit of a mix-up with dynamics, but the people that do stay around you, that are closest to you, are really just aurically connected to you. They are the right people for you. They are the people who weren't exploiting your empathy when there were no boundaries. So the people who stay and who are your friends still are the good people. Okay, so all you're doing is clearing out what needed to be cleared out. So what's the way out of this haunted house? Okay, we've got two cards again. So we have the Harvest of Cups, and we also have the Lovers. I love this. Okay. You keep getting two cards, so I'm having to try and make it work. But yeah, we've got the Harvest of Cups and the Lovers. So, of course, the way out is leading with love. We're getting that really strongly. It's also through connection, community, and spirituality. So the way through all of these challenges. So these are kind of like your shadow side challenges. The way through kind of putting all this pressure on yourself, being empathetic with no boundaries, dealing with inevitable loss that will come your way when you start to set these boundaries. The way through that is to be really loving towards yourself, as well as others, but towards yourself. You need to be really patient, really kind, really gentle with yourself. Acknowledge your wins when you have them. Acknowledge your achievements. Celebrate them. Also, it could even be doing more spiritual practices or practices that ground you if you're not very spiritual. So just things like yoga, meditation, maybe some tarot, maybe some divination if you're into that, like some spell work and things like that. Things that just make you feel grounded and help you feel tapped in and connected to your empathy, especially with like animals and things as well. If that's going out in nature and just like having like a nice sit down in the grass with a book or something, whatever makes you feel good, that's the way out of this maze, out of this haunted house. What's the adrenaline rush you need to watch out for that could keep you coming back time and time again into this haunted house? We've got the devil in reverse. The adrenaline rush is that rush you get when you dip back into old habits you've been trying to get out of, because as like this is so common and it's so hard to overcome, so I totally feel you, because like I have like trichotillomania and I'll try so hard not to pull my hair, and then sometimes days are just harder than others and I go back into it and it feels so good for that moment, but the moment it's over you're like, fuck's sake, ruined me progress. All right, so it's like your that kind of immediate dopamine hit that you're looking for is what could potentially pull you back in, but just remember it's not long lasting. It's a temporary dopamine hit and it means nothing. Like once you felt it in its past, you'll regret going back. So it's kind of like, for example, with this over empathy, no boundaries, you might get a dopamine hit of just saying yes to someone, even if your boundaries are saying no. You might be like, yeah, I can help you on the weekend move and pack all your stuff and move house, but really you had plans for yourself on the weekend. And it's like that dopamine hit of pleasing someone comes back in, but then you regret it because you're like, I've just given away that weekend when I had plans, kind of thing. It's things like that. You're needing to pull away from that negative habit of yours that's pulling you towards pleasing others above yourself. That is the potential adrenaline rush that could pull you back into these darker areas of your haunted house. Oh, what's the breath of fresh air at the end of the haunted house? So this is when you step out of the haunted house, you're free to go home. What's the breath of fresh air? And we have the Seed of Cups. The breath of fresh air is really solid, beautiful connections with others, beautiful connections. And I don't just mean like romantic ones, by the way. I'm actually thinking more like friendships and family, but just in general, the people that are around you. They're very loving, they're very supportive, they're the right ones for you, they're not exploiting you or taking advantage. It's really sweet connections. So once you actually deal with all of these sort of inner darker things going on, the empathy with no boundaries, the harsh criticism of yourself and setting yourself unrealistic goals and not celebrating yourself, accepting relationships that walk out of your life because you set boundaries. Once you've made it through all of this, what's waiting for you is healthy connections. Solid connections. Oh, interesting. For cozy recovery, because that's our last question for this reading, cozy recovery is like, what's your thing to do when you get home from a haunted maze or a haunted house, tour or something? What do you do to calm yourself down, settle the nerves? Is it put on your favourite comedy show? Like, what is it? We've got the Three of Stones. That's gonna like make you feel good and support you through this journey. Which I find really interesting because it's like, for you, what makes you feel good and what's going to fill your cup up is working on new and exciting projects with people, because in that you're getting community, you're getting the socialization you want, but then you're also getting that achievement that clearly is very important to you. That kind of ambitious, let me do something, kind of productive energy clearly resonates with you. And so throwing yourself into projects that you are passionate about is what's going to make you feel good. That's what's going to fill your cup up at the end of this journey or during this journey. That's what's going to help ground you and pull you back to reality. So that was your reading poll 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my lovely pile 3s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the empty cottage. I've just noticed like the colours kind of match, but anyway. This is your significator card, so we're going to pop it over to the side with your crystal. And let's get started. So, firstly, what's working against you in this haunted house? You know, what's the energy that's kind of seeking you out? Oh my gosh, guys, we got a lot of cards for the energy working against you. That's not good. Okay, so we've got the hanging one. We have the Death card. We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. And we also have the 8 of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I can see it. Okay, so the thing working against you is that you have a habit or a tendency to like have a dream, have a goal. It doesn't really go anywhere, you don't move it, you don't do anything with it, and then it disappears. So, for example, I'm just going to use myself as an example because that's all I've got to go off of. But when I was younger, and I had book ideas, I'd be like, oh my god, I got this great book idea. It's going to be like this, and then I wouldn't write it, and then I would forget it. And the next morning I'd be like, what was that? And that literally happened to me the other day. I was having, you know, like pre-dream, you're kind of daydreaming, fantasizing, maladaptive daydreaming, whatever. And I had such a good idea for a book idea. And I was like, wow, that's good. And I was like, someone else should write that. And then I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I couldn't remember what the book was. And I was so annoyed because I know it was good. And I know it was like a ghosty paranormal one, which is one that I want to write. And I was like, no, like that's never been explored before and it's gone. It just disappeared from my mind. Hopefully the download has gone to someone else because I'd like to read whatever it was I was thinking about. But that's essentially you. You, as quick as you get an idea or inspiration, you abandon it. As quick as it's there, you can forget it quicker. You can move on from it quicker and start thinking about the next best thing. And then again, you forget that one. So it's like all of these started and stopped and abandoned endeavours are just building up behind you, piling up behind you everywhere you go. So that's the energy that's working against you, is that you're not like following through on the things that you inspire you, that bring you joy or pique your interest. Okay, you got a lot of cards. I'm gonna put these down here because I'm trying to make a like haunted house spread. So this is like the base there. Okay. So what's protecting you? Oh, interesting. You have the 2 of Cups in reverse. I wonder how that's protecting you though. The 2 of Cups in reverse is protecting you. Ooh, it could be that your lack of connection with others, especially in a romantic sense, is actually a blessing in disguise or a protection. Like you're being protected from like baby trapping, you know, just in general relationship trapping. You're being protected from being in like a loveless connection or a passionless connection. Like the reason things haven't worked out for you in the past with like romance and stuff is because it would have resulted in a situation that you would just, it would be your worst nightmare. Like you would just despise it. Like a connectionless relationship or something like that. Like no passion, no like love or interest in each other. That's what you're being protected from. Like I'm talking sleeping in separate bunk beds kind of relationship. Like not something you would want. So that's something that's actually protecting you. So if you ever sit there and think, oh, like why hasn't that worked out, or why, you know, is nothing moving in that area, that's why. It's for protection. It's because what has crossed your path has not been for you, but you wouldn't know that. So you might have gone after that. So the universe intervenes to be like, yeah, don't. Okay. So what cobwebs do you need to clear out from your life? You have the Flower of Stones as well as the Harvest of Stones in reverse here. Which is really interesting because it's like... Where can I put this? I'm going to put it here. Okay. It's interesting because it's almost like whatever expectations you had in life, but particularly around stability, family structure, and how finances cross over into love as well. Because that's a thing, you know, marriage is still a thing. That's a financial contract mixed in with love. So whatever ideas you had around love and finances and stability, you need to rethink those because they're no longer relevant. It's like the thing you had in your mind or the goal that you wanted or what you thought about those things is no longer applicable in today's world. So that's something that you need to kind of release and get rid of because it's not something that's relevant to you anymore. I hope that helps. That's what the cards are telling me. But ooh, what is your ghost in your haunted house? So you have the Ace of Thunder in reverse. So the ghost is essentially the thing from your past that you're beginning to let go. So you're in like a transitionary phase, but essentially you will eventually transform out of it. So again, we're getting that Ace of Thunder. So that initial thought, that initial idea in reverse, it's being abandoned, released, let go, you're not taking it and seizing these opportunities. You're releasing that. You are overcoming that and you're becoming the type of person who seizes those ideas straight away, seizes that creative inspiration, seizes those opportunities and does something with it. But you're in the transitionary phase at the minute, so it might not feel like you're that person yet, but you will be. What surprises or jump scares are next? We have the Ace of Cups. I don't know if you anticipate it or not because it's in the jump scare category. But what is next for you is a lot of self-love and self-appreciation and self-acceptance. Actually genuinely loving and liking who you are as a person is next for you. Even if you're someone who right now you don't feel that way about yourself, that's what's next. Ooh, so what's going to help lead you out of this haunted house? So essentially what's going to take you out of this like haunted house maze, you know, because they kind of make it mazy when you go around haunted houses so that you struggle to get out. But we've got the Tower. And if you can see, the figure there is standing strong. They're stable. They're not moving. No matter what's thrown at them, there's lightning thrown at them. There's fire. There's rain. There's, you know, water. No matter what's thrown their way, they are stable and they are strong. So what is going to help you through all of these moments of claiming ideas as and when they come to you, accepting where you're at in life and accepting love for yourself is staying really grounded, keeping your eye focused on what it is you want, what the end outcome is that you want from this situation, and not being deterred by setbacks or downfalls. Embracing downfalls or pushes and nudges as motivation rather than as something to actually, you know, knock you down. Okay. What's the adrenaline rush to watch out for? Okay. So we've got the Fool there. So the adrenaline rush is the thing that makes you go in the haunted house again. It makes you repeat again all of these things. And we've got the Fool there. So again, it's those inspiring sparks, those initial moments. And the thing is, those initial moments, you also have the 10 of Stones here. But those initial moments of inspiration, those initial moments of I've got a great idea can feel really exciting, but then when you actually conceptualize the hard work you have to do to follow that idea through to being something successful, suddenly all that inspiration goes away and you're like, I don't really want to do that. And you forget about it and you don't do it. So the thing to watch out for, that adrenaline rush, is to make sure that you're not just getting caught up in the fantasy of an idea or of inspiration or creativity, and then only enjoying it there. Because even if the road ahead looks hard to manifest and bring that idea into reality, even if it looks hard, there are so many fun moments along the way, as well as that end moment where you've accomplished that thing. So even if it feels boring to follow the idea through and put effort into it, it's going to be worthwhile. So try not to get distracted by new ideas and focus on the ones you've got, and see if these new ideas can incorporate into your current ones. And if they can't, make a note of them, save them for later, but keep focusing on your current idea. Okay. Ooh, what's the breath of fresh air at the end of the maze? So when you step out of the haunted house and you finally take a breath of fresh air, night air, you know, and it feels good, you're free. What is that? What is that moment? And we've got the devil here. It's you literally walking away from what you were chained to, with these little footprints here. You're literally leaving. You're literally leaving all of the things that were holding you back in life, the things that you were doing or that were adding to your stagnation. You're walking away from it. And what's your cozy recovery? So this is like, you know, when you get home from going to a haunted house and you like to unwind, you might put on your favourite comedy show or something. I used to do that. If I watched a horror movie at the cinema, I would come straight home and I would watch like a comedy show. Like I used to watch like Russell Howard's Good News or something like that when I was younger, to like calm me down after the horror movie. So you've got the moon there, which is so lovely. So I think the thing that's going to help you stay focused, stay grounded, is one, indulging in the mystery a little bit, because you don't know what the future holds. You don't know where this idea or this inspiration is going to take you. But the point is, invest in it and see where it goes, because as you're doing that, you're indulging in the what ifs, in the what could come of this, where could this lead to, and that fills you with a lot of joy. It fills your cup. And also you're like gaining knowledge and developing skills. Like the more, so when you have an idea but then you actually start to learn how to do that thing and start to bring it into reality, you're learning a new skill, you're developing yourself. So you also like that element of it as well, because it's making you feel like a more capable, mature person. So it's actually growing you, is your recovery from this, is developing you, developing yourself, your ideas, and investing in what your future could be, what it could look like, and fantasizing about that. So that was your reading pile 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my powerfuls, welcome to your reading. So you chose the 10 of coins with the little pink Crackle quartz, which we'll place over here. And let's get into your haunted house. So, what's working against you in your haunted house? Oh, we have the High Priestess in reverse. So this is like the energy that's pursuing you, the scary intensity of the haunted house. I think it's your lack of intuition. You're falling out of sync with your inner voice. You're falling out of trust with your inner wisdom. You might not feel as connected to it at the minute, and that's kind of pursuing you a little bit, I think, because in a sense it's like you're, without that, you don't have that guide, that navigation, that compass, that balance of external advice versus internal advice. Like you're a little bit lost, to be honest, without your inner intuition. For some reason you've fallen out of sync with it, and I'm not sure why, but there's a lack of communication going on between you and your intuition, and that's something that's pursuing you. I wonder why there's a falling out there, a falling out of sync. I asked why, and I got the 2 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Harvest of Thunder all in reverse. And what I'm seeing is offerings that are being missed. Like, this is you reaching out for guidance. This is your guidance reaching out to give you guidance. But as you can see, they sort of come through a different realm. It's almost like you're missing each other because you're in different realms. And the reason I'm getting that as well is because you've got a stag here. And I was just going down like a deep rabbit hole the other day about the Tree of Life and how it's, the tops are like, in the spirit world, the tops of the tree. then like the middle of the tree is in like the physical world, and then the roots are in like the underworld. And it's these 3 different realms where 3 different sets of gods live, you know, the ones in the underworld, the ones in the physical, and the ones in the spiritual world. So it's almost like you're missing each other, like whatever was speaking to you through your intuition and your own inner intuition as well, which is just you seem to be in different places, looking for each other in the wrong places. So you're looking for each other, but you're not connecting. There seems to be some sort of misalignment there, which could unravel in the reading. We might find out why that is as we go deeper into the reading. Okay. So what's protecting you right now? Oh, we have the sun. I love that. Okay. So definitely there's a successful energy around you. It could be what's protecting you right now is actually the energy you're exuding, because the sun also speaks about your own attitude, because you're leading with kindness, empathy, brightness, happiness, confidence, sociability, extroverted energy. And that is protecting you because it makes you this almost untouchable, you know, because the sun is this hot, fiery ball of gas. Like, it makes you untouchable. It makes you something that people wouldn't dare to, like, mess with. You know, wouldn't touch, wouldn't look at. Like, it makes you protected by your own light, by your own energy, leading with all of those really nice qualities. So that's protecting you at the minute. Is this kind of positive, pure energy that you have. What cobwebs do you need to clear out of your haunted house? We have the Star in reverse. You need to stop letting go of and forgetting about your dreams, okay? Because at the minute you're not guided by them. You're not even investing in, like, oh, I wonder what this could be, or what I could achieve. It's almost like you don't even believe that you could achieve those things, so you're not even thinking about it. Because you're not thinking about it and investing in yourself, it makes you aimless, it makes you compassless. This could even be why you're falling out of sync with your intuition, because you're choosing to ignore it, because it might give you a feeling of like you're on the right track when you do something. Like, maybe you love doing art, and anytime you whip out your art book, your intuition is like, yes, this is the right thing, and you're like, no, it's just for fun, it's just a hobby. Like, that's almost making you out of sync, and that's like an idea you need to get rid of, is this doubt you have in yourself. Oh, what is your haunted house ghost? So we have the devil. Don't panic. The devil in reverse. Okay, so the haunted house ghost is like something from your past that you're still in a transitionary period from, but eventually you will transform completely away from it. But what I'm seeing is that there's some sort of habit in your past, some sort of toxic addiction or toxic behavior that you were indulging in, that you're moving away from. You're finally transforming away from it. It could be with the Two of Thunder there, codependency, like maybe you depend a lot on others or feel like you need to, and like you can't trust your own inner voice. It's almost like, it gives me the impression someone else might be standing in your way of you trusting yourself and connecting with your intuition, your internal voice. And maybe that's why you can't find it, because it's almost like someone else is saying, you can't do this on your own, or you can't do this, let me do it, I'll take over. But then they're like immobilizing you. They're making you like someone who has to be dependent. They're making you someone who's incapable of making decisions for themselves and taking care of themselves. They're like taking away your autonomy in a way and kind of infantilizing you a little bit. Like, that's almost the energy that's coming in. That's the toxic thing that you kind of have to recover from. But that is something you are recovering from, because that's your ghost. So that's your thing from the past that's hard to get rid of. But once you do, it's gone. And you will then be someone who is independent, who can take care of themselves, trusts themselves, makes decisions for themselves, trusts their intuition. You are becoming that person. You are stepping away. But at the minute, you feel like you're almost fading away out of being who you were truly meant to be. It doesn't feel like you have the bright sunshine energy, because it feels like you're almost invisible. But you're coming back, you're reviving. Especially with that stag imagery we had in the beginning. There's a reawakening for sure. Okay, so what jump scares or surprises are next? We have the 5 and 4 of thunder here. That's interesting. So, of course, there's 2 going on here. But firstly, I think someone might try and steal your ideas or steal your accomplishments or take credit for it, which you're becoming aware of. And so that surprises you, seeing who is actually in your corner versus who isn't. Someone who you didn't anticipate sort of betraying you does. But then what that leads to is that because you recognize that, you're then able to kind of be like, okay, that person's not for me, and sort of move away from that and focus more on yourself. I think you're going to go inward and feel more at peace, more protected. I also think something that's going to surprise you as well about that is your ability to walk away from that person, or your ability to call it out rather than allow it to happen. I think you're going to surprise yourself with how you handle the situation. And it's leading you on this journey of transforming into this new version of yourself. It takes you by surprise because you don't feel like you are someone who stands up for yourself, but then here you are doing it, you know? So what's the way out of this haunted house? We have the Lovers in reverse. You know what? I feel like this is saying, put yourself first. Stop putting others first. Also, don't invest as much in relationships with others, because at the minute I think those have quite a negative impact on you. I think for now, just focus on yourself. Ooh. The adrenaline rush that brings you back into the haunted house. This is the thing that makes you go round it again and again and again, constantly dipping back into it. So because you've got the Ace of Thunder in reverse there, I think it's your doubt in yourself. I think once again it's you kind of being like, let me go and seek validation from someone else that what I'm about to do or say is the right thing. Don't do that. Send that text message without getting, validation from someone else that it sounds good. Decide on what you're going to do for the day without someone else telling you. Like, you need to start small, but start making decisions for yourself and stop going back to others for that validation, because you're reinforcing that dynamic that was there. So the thing that runs the risk of you repeating these cycles is, again, doubting yourself and reaching out to others for guidance when you really need to start leading yourself. The breath of fresh air at the end of the haunted house, where you step out into the cool night air and it feels all good, is healthy connections that are meant for you, as well as celebrating successes. So there will be a lot of achievements and accomplishments and wins ahead for you that you're able to celebrate with people that are good for you, people that have good connections with you, who are healthy people to be around, like a good influence, kind people. Because you now lead with your own light and you can see people for who they are, you're able to have better connections with others. And what's the cozy recovery? We've got the 10 of Thunder here in reverse. I love this. So the cozy recovery is like the thing you do when you get home from the haunted house. Do you put on your favourite comedy show for like a bit of relief from a scary night? Like, what's the thing that will make you feel good at the end of this journey? So we've got the 10 of Thunder in reverse. You're no longer getting caught up in the illusions that you have no options, that everywhere you go, it's just negativity and bad things are always going to happen to you. Because as you can see, she's stepping back into a very clear path that leads her away from all of these lightning bolts onto the rainbow. She doesn't see that it's a rainbow because she can't see past all the lightning bolts, but there is a whole rainbow underneath her ready to catch her. So what's waiting for you is security, is safety, is comfort, is enjoyment, is peace, away from all of these negative lightning bolts that were kind of keeping you trapped, keeping you caged. Now you're getting sanctuary, now you're getting peace, now you're getting comfort, because you've done all this inner work to find your inner compass again, to find your intuition, to trust yourself and make your own decisions, and follow your dreams, trusting that success is inevitable in your future. So that is what I see for you, pile 4. Wishing you all the best success with that. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot.